Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela with another edition of Notes on the News, not news, where we focus on kind of going beyond the headlines. We look at headlines, but we don't get stuck in the headlines. We don't get stuck in stories. It may be stories that we've read just the headline. It may be stories, hey, that we've read the headlines in the first paragraph. We might have skimmed it. We might be very familiar with the subject. But it is not news, it's just our notes on the news. So, what's new and good? What's going on? What's exciting? What are you celebrating personally, in your family, in your community? What you want to celebrate about the world right now? Yes, just drop that in the comments. Just go on and drop that in the comments. So we're going to jump right into the Nguzo Saba. And which principle are we going to focus on today? Which Nguzo Saba are we going to focus on today? I wonder if Nguzo Saba, oh, seven, I think it means seven principles. Which of the Nguzo Saba are we going to focus on today? Faith. Let us go with faith. Day of meditation. Day of meditation. I never noticed that, but I don't think I've ever read this on my tablet before. So we are on a website called endarkenment.com. They have Kwanzaa principles and Kwanzaa information. So let's see if we can get to it. I'm used to going to it a certain way. We see it. Faith, Imani, Imani. All right, so we're going to read one of these paragraphs. So, Imani, faith, is the seventh principle. Generally, if you're practicing Kwanzaa for the holidays, then it would be on January 1. So, it's a great way to start off the new year. Happy New Year, happy new day, happy new week, happy new moment, happy new second. To believe with all our heart in our Creator, our people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Every time I hear that part, I love it. The righteousness and victory of our struggle. To believe in the righteousness and the victory of our struggle. The seventh principle is faith, which is essentially a profound belief in and commitment to all that is of value to us as a family, community, people, and culture. In the context of African spirituality, it begins with a belief in the Creator and in the positiveness of the creation, and logically leads to a belief in the essential goodness and possibility of human personality. For in all African spiritual traditions from Egypt on, it is taught that we are in the image of the Creator and thus capable of ultimate righteousness and creativity through self mastery and development in the context of positive support. Therefore, a faith in ourselves is key here. Faith in our capacity as humans to live righteously, to self correct, support, care for, and be responsible for each other, and eventually create the just and good society. Hi, Sonia. How are you? Um, so that's Imani faith. Dang, there was something here that, oh, they said, and to eventually create. I don't know if I'm kind of like to maybe recreate another or additional just and good societies, because I feel like we have created. I walk by faith daily. That's right. But we have created. If you look at the history of our people, we've created just and good society after just and good society. We in a, it's kind of like, it look like we on shaky ground now, but we have a long, long legacy that's way longer than this current encounter with Europeans of having societies that are just and good. So let us have faith in that we ain't just making it up totally from scratch. Okay, so let us jump right into the news. The news. Ooh, the noose. The noose. Is it news or is it a noose? Are we caught up in it? Is it choking us? I don't know. That's a good question. Actually, I have a theory about that. Sometimes I think if you caught up in it in the wrong way, it is like a noose and it is going to choke you out and it's not about your life. So, yeah, okay. So, um, okay, we'll start at the end and work backwards. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. I didn't say that before. If this is your first time here, welcome. If this is not your first time here, welcome, welcome back. All right. HBCU helps Bahamas students impacted by Dorian with offer of free semester. HBCU. I wonder if that's Hampton because I had read earlier that Hampton. Here's the headline for Hampton. This article is coming off of the Grio, and then an article that comes a little later is or earlier was Atlanta Black Star, and it says Hampton University to offer free enrollment, room and board to Bahamian students affected by Hurricane Dorian. Now, it's a couple things I want to talk about in this. One, when I saw the headline, I'm like, well, how does Hampton have money to do that? Because a lot of the HBCUs, their endowments are like a little bit shaky. It's hard for people to get financial aid. The government is cutting back a lot of the money that used to be a resource for HBCUs was government money that's being impacted. So I was kind of surprised by that. But a semester is different from a 4-year education. So I'm guessing that both of these articles are probably about Hampton. Sonia sees we created so much for other folks in the last 700 years, made their dreams come true and continue to do so. Let's do it for us now, only us. All right. So you can read that article or read about that on both the Grio and Atlanta Black Star. In terms of, hey, Kendrick, what's up? In terms of this hurricane, oh, you do have your finger up. I'm just saying, all you need to do is put your finger up. In terms of, some people act like I ain't never been to church before. In terms of this hurricane, we were watching something or listening to somebody and they were talking about HARP because it's like, dang, it's just sitting on Bahamas like that. Like, why, how, when, where? We ain't never seen that. I don't know because I ain't no student of hurricanes. But I guess it totally makes sense to me that there are experiments out here, or maybe they're no longer experiments. Maybe they're like effective methods of weather control. And, I don't really know. They got a man in your house. I know. Who let him in here? But with there being effective methods of controlling the weather, and I don't really know, I was thinking about it when I thought about it in the context of the Bahamas. At first, I was like, well, I think they have a huge tourism industry. Shoot, maybe some of these big corporations or, whoever, the right person's friend was like, well, just like how you might pay somebody like, hey, burn this down so I can get the insurance money and start over fresh over here with another business, not me or you, but I'm just saying, we've heard of people who do that. Maybe they was just like, hey, drop this hurricane down here on the Bahamas for a while, wipe everything out, and then I can start fresh in the hot new tourist place. The hotel I have on the Bahamas is old, it's dry, it's not getting as much attention as it used to get. It's not popping like it used to pop. We know they don't talk like that. So let's get it popping somewhere else. You know what I mean? So the first hurricane that I remember was in 1965. Yeah. So he's somewhere over there, Kendrick. I was gonna tell him you said hi, but I don't think he's here at the moment. Whites love their playgrounds. Yep, yep. And that's kind of part of the anger at the whole Cuba thing. They like, we can't have Cuba as our playground. Just a short hop, skip, and a jump from the United States. We mad. These people want to use Cuba, as a place to support their people's growth and development and the lives of their people. How dare they when it's our playground? So anyway, I just hadn't thought about that when I saw the story immediately about the hurricane. I wasn't thinking nothing about no HARP, HAARP. For those who don't know, you can Google it. I don't really know. I've heard of it. I don't study stuff like that deeply, but I feel like these things people, whatever they are liable to do anything. I wouldn't put, it's not much that I would put past them. I might put past them, like if somebody said they're humans, they're acting humanely. I'd be like, I don't know, that seems suspicious. I need to research this very, very deeply. But almost anything else you could tell me, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me. I don't put nothing past them. I don't put nothing past them except for acting humanely, especially when it comes to how they act toward black folks. The blacker the folks are, the more brutal their behavior seems to be. Okay, it has taken its toll. Black man suffering racial abuse on the job now suffers from depression and anxiety. That story is also coming off of Atlanta Black Star. I don't really understand the how it's framed in terms of, like, I feel like black people suffer from depression and anxiety from all of the mess and confusion that we deal with and that we live with in this society and throughout the world. So I'm not exactly sure why this headline is black man, like it's just one, like the rest of us are cool, but this one black man, he's suffering from depression and anxiety. But maybe somebody will read it. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. The headline confused me because I feel like we all having a hard way to go, and for some of us it's more or less obvious. Some of us is more or less acute. But I'm just saying, introduce me to the black person who live in this world who ain't dealing with this mess and confusion. All of us suffer. They breathe racial survival above all else. Yeah. And they like royalty over there in Africa, Sonya said. Um, Detroit woman shot 11 times by wife after asking for divorce. Okay, so I guess it's a gay couple. I guess it's a wife. They were legally married. I did hit the link because I was curious to see if both of the folks were black. But the woman, I couldn't see any images because my phone be loading stuff up slow. But while I was skimming the article, she said that the woman shot her in her vajayjay 4 or 5 times, in her leg, and she said if she can't have her, she ain't nobody gonna have her, and she wasn't really surprised by it. That was thanks Obama. Hard to keep our sanity living among these demons. Right. Do we have our sanity? So anyway, that story was coming off of the Rio. So prayers out to the woman who was shot. That's just like awful to me. Like, I feel like someone shot you in your vajayjay multiple times. Someone shot you because you wanted to do. I mean, that's just the whole. It's just like layers upon layers upon layers of mess and confusion with that story for me. Harvard scientists have found a better way to 3D print organs. A while ago, it seemed like every time I turned around, not every time, but probably about once a week, a couple, like maybe 3 times a month, I'd see some kind of article on 3D printing. And for some reason, I was thinking 3D printing was going to become like a common thing, like, in people's houses. I don't know why, but that's just what I thought was going to happen. And maybe it will happen. I don't know. But I didn't realize that they were 3D printing organs. So if you need a heart transplant, I guess they can 3D print a heart. Is that what's going on? This story is coming off of engadget.com, engadget.com. So they found a better way, and maybe they haven't perfected it yet. But like pacemakers, like things that they put inside of your body, even like dental, when you have fillings and stuff. Um, like it's just like foreign objects in your body. I'm like, when they're 3D printing, they use plastics, I think, to make most of that stuff. It's not paper, but then they're putting plastic organs in your body. I don't even like to drink out of a plastic cup. Plastic is ubiquitous. It's hard to get away from it. I don't like to eat nothing out of plastic. It's really, plastic is something, but it's just like having plastic in your body. That's like, I don't know. And I guess when they put these pacemakers and stuff in your body, they be made out of plastic, huh? Because otherwise, with the blood and your body is wet inside. So what else is gonna be? I guess they could, if it be stainless steel. I don't know how it works. What is a pacemaker made out of? I've got questions. Um, yeah, Black people are dysfunctional and can't get our stuff together. Now, I don't claim that. I feel like we definitely have a lot of challenges, and we definitely have, as a community, we have a lot of challenges. And I think as individuals, you know, and maybe, maybe none of us can get our stuff together, but I think here and there we get bits and pieces of our stuff together. Yes? Yes. Let us hope. Let us pray. Let us claim. We are healthy. We are whole. We are healing. We got our stuff together. We're getting our stuff together every day, and in every way, we are getting better and better. Yes? Yes. um, W WHT. Oh, WTH. That's like, what the hell, though? What the heck? Italian soccer fans say monkey chants aren't a form of are oh wait, I'm sorry, excuse me. Italian what the H? Italian WTH? Is that how you say it? WTH? I don't know how you say it. WTH. Italian soccer fans say monkey chants are a quote form of respect end quote in response to black soccer players' racist claims. So I guess the man was oh yeah, people love plastic bottles. Everything is plastic. Kendrick said he works in a public store and people buy plastic bottles. Shoot, people love. I go out of my way to buy glass, but like some of the brands, I was like, oh, this is my brand. They don't even put they like. I like sparkling water. I like Pellegrino and Perrier. I prefer a brand we don't. But I can find Pellegrino, and it used to always be in glass bottles, and now you go to the grocery store, it's hit or miss. They're moving into plastic. A lot of stuff is just it's some honeys I used to buy, and now they don't have them in the glass anymore. They're in plastic. Some when I was really into coconut oil and coconut butters, they would be in glass, and they started shifting over. So that's a big thing. So the soccer fans, the man, I guess he playing soccer. He's a professional player, and the Italian fans of the soccer game started making monkey chants. It's a black player on the floor. They're making monkey chants. He got offended. He like, this is racist. And the Italian fans are like, oh no, this is a form of respect. And then probably the next thing that they did is peed on them and told them it was raining. Right. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. We talked about that. Seattle area's sheriff's office settles lawsuit for $80,000. Will apologize to two black teens wrongly held at gunpoint. Have you ever had a gun put on you before? I've never had a gun put on me before. I don't even like really being around guns, but I feel like somebody pulling a gun on you is like a really threatening thing, especially when they're a cop. And because we see on the news or you hear about constantly them killing people. So can you imagine the terror and the trauma that those two young men experienced? Having somebody having cops pull guns on them? Yeah. So they were wrongly held at gunpoint, and the sheriff's office settled the lawsuit. I'm just going by the headline for $80,000. So I guess each child got $40,000. The average salary in this country, I think, is $45,000 or $55,000 a year. The last time I paid attention, I think it was 45. It might have gone up. I'm not really sure. Can you imagine like the long-term effect that's going to have on their lives? And also, even though they're not 2 or 1 or 5, which are critical formative years, they're young men. That's a critical formative traumatic event that's going to imprint and have an impact on them, and probably it's had an impact on them genetically. It'll probably have an impact on their children through genetics and through emotion. The family, the people who are their peers now, sisters, brothers, friends, mama, daddy, the impact that it. So they settled the lawsuit for $80,000. I had a cop stop me twice in my life. Coconut water, yeah. I'm trying to think. I've had a couple encounters with police officers. Um, you know, Look at that. I just said police officers. It's like your tongue and your brain does stuff. Like that's like a very respectful term to me. Officer, police officer. It's like you just trained to speak a certain way. So yeah, the cops. Yeah. Okay, so that story, did I say that's coming off of Atlanta Black Star? Chicago mural recalls Black Panther leader Fred Hampton killed by police 50 years ago in his sleep. He was executed. I don't know why they're saying killed by, because we were talking about it today. I'm like, the man was executed. That's not common now. He was executed in his sleep. He was sleeping in the middle of the night, and he was in the bed with the pregnant mother. His child was in the belly of the woman that he was sleeping with. Their child was in her belly. Speaking of imprinting something on you and on your spirit and on your soul and having an impact on you, I wonder where Fred Hampton's child is today and who that person is and how what type of vibration that's sent throughout their life. I mean, I'm just curious. Yeah. So there's a mural in Detroit. I mean, not in Detroit, in Chicago. And that story is coming off of moguldom.com, moguldom.com. So, just prayers out and just to the family and community of Fred Hampton, to all of us, because that's designed to be a terrorist act. I mean, it impacted all of us at the time, even those of us who are after that time and aren't conscious of it. That's had vibrations on us. That's had an impact. Um, so yeah, that's what's going on there. And then let us continue to kind of say his name, Fred Hampton, and acknowledge that he was executed by um, this society, the state, whatever you want to call it. South Africa xenophobic attacks. So y'all been hearing about these. First of all, a lot of people that I've heard are kind of like disputing this term xenophobia. They're kind of like, so in South Africa, apparently there are black folks from other countries who are being attacked by black folks from South Africa. That's the word, that's the story. There are all these videos and stuff going around. I haven't seen any of the videos. But what I have seen is few people talk about and raise the question, if they're xenophobic attacks, why are they attacking black people? If you're scared of the stranger, xenophobia is a fear of foreigners, why aren't you attacking the brown and the white people? The white people would be the main ones you'd attack because they're the most foreign of all. They're the furthest away from, if you're scared of foreigners, you're not scared of the white folks. So are they attacking any white folks? They just attacking the black folks. So people are like, that's not xenophobia, that's self-hate. I think I heard the guy who leads EFF talking about that. And then it's this young guy that I listened to on YouTube. I've only been listening to him for a couple of weeks. His name is, I think it's Wode Maya. I think that's his name. But he does like a lot of videos on he visits different places in Africa or different countries in Africa. I don't know if he has it as a goal for him to see all 50. How many countries are there? 54, 55, 53 countries in Africa, all 50 plus countries in Africa. But he visits countries in Africa and then shares, like, this is the Africa that you don't see on the news. This is what's going on here. This is how it is. He's like, trying to advance give us information that we're not going to get from anybody else. And so he did a piece on it, and he was saying the same thing in terms of right. Meantime, whites and Asians are living high and well in South Africa. And my mom was there a couple of years ago, and she came back with that statistic. She like something like it's like 80% of the resources are in the hands of the 10% of the white people at the top. That apartheid being over didn't change anything in terms of how that country is organized, in terms of where the resources are, in terms of where the wealth is, in terms of where the government jobs are going. Like, it's the same country that it's been, I don't want to say always been, but been since colonialization, since they were taken over, whatever. So Once again, here's another case. This is the same template running in South Africa that runs here, where those of us at the bottom are fighting each other, pointing the finger at each other, mad at each other, attacking each other. Those damn immigrants, instead of, we punching each other, or some people say punching down, instead of looking up at the people who 80 the Nigerians didn't put you in the situation you in, bro. It's the white people up there. Go fight them if you're gonna fight somebody. So anyway, but this is a mainstream news source. This is coming off of BBC. African Esquire, I think, did a piece on it. So you can look at Wode Maya. I think it's WODEMAYA. His little piece is like a short 6 minute video or something like that. Then he at the end he sings, or he has some. Oh no, let's teach us some Bob Marley or something. It's like at the end it all the way through. I'm kind of like, but I understand what he's saying. It's like it's so hey, we gotta love each other. If not us, who? If we not gonna love, what up? What we doing? And African Esquire, and I don't know if it's AFRIKAN or AFRICAN, Esquire, ESQUIRE. She has a video up about it. She tends to do international stories a little more in depth. But and there's probably other stuff. But anyway, this particular piece was coming off of BBC. So the first part of it was South Africa xenophobic attacks. So we protest xenophobic attacks. We protest that word. I don't accept that. No, we're not gonna characterize it as xenophobia. But they say that fake videos stoke tension. So this article is saying that there are videos going around that are either not current, like they're old videos that are like going around, like, look at what just happened in South Africa right now, but it's a year old, 5 years old, 20 years old, whatever. It's not current. And then there are also videos going on that are like going on in a whole nother country. And they're like, this is going on in South Africa. So it's like making stuff worse than it is. Part of the propaganda campaign. So I wouldn't recommend that, but that story, that headline came off of BBC. So my break is over. Enjoy your day. Tell Ayapo I said hi. Thanks. I don't know if I missed you or not, but thanks for spending some time on your break. And if you came in late or if you have to leave early, this is going to be on the channel, so you can go back and catch up to where you came in. Welcome if you just came in. And if you had to leave early, you can come back and watch the rest of it to the end. Okay. And I'm expecting people, so I don't know how long I'm gonna be here anyway. I'm trying to hurry up and get this out because I got stuff to do. I got stuff to do. Places to go, people to see. Jamel Hill slammed as racist and pro-segregationist for urging Black athletes to attend HBCUs. Now, when they what they want to do is, okay, so I was thinking about this in terms of this whole separation thing. Y'all know Ayapo talk about separation a lot. So if we want to have our own spaces and separate and do things our own way, that's a problem. They want us in their systems, their failing systems, their jacked up systems designed to miseducate us, exploit us, jack us up, confuse us. They don't want us in school with them. They want us in their schools under their control and their miseducation. So she's talking about, shoot, we need to go to places where people look like us and care about us and are trying to do something for us. And they're like, you're racist. But anyway, y'all know how they are. Calling Black folks racist is a mind game. Yes, it is. Because, I mean, and I feel like calling white folks, like the whole, like I have this whole new concept of racism now, or, I don't even know how to explain it, but I know that there is a common idea out there among a lot of folks that, Black folks can't be racist because we don't have the power to, I can hate you, but I don't have the power to keep you from eating. I don't have the power to kill you. I don't have, so it's kind of like, there's a power differential. So if you can't have reverse racism because all of the power is in the white supremacist hands, the system has all of the power. You, with your white supremacy and your hate or your dislike of me, can impact me and my family and my community. me with my dislike of you cannot impact your family, your community, and your ability to eat. So it's two different things. But I also just, I mean, here recently I've been thinking a lot about the ways in which we're educated formally in school, the ways in which we're educated informally through television, through media, through news, through conversations, the things that we're exposed to, the things we see, movies, like just for some reason I'm blanking on, but it's like we get all of these messages constantly and continuously from a system that is designed to maintain white supremacy. And I feel like as black folks, we receive just as many of those messages as anybody else. Now we do as black and brown folks have a counter because, I'm like, if somebody is like, all black people ain't shit, or that's the main message, excuse my language, but then I'm looking around my family and my community and I'm like, black people are the stuff. Black people are the skit. Like I'm like, I have a counter to the misinformation. But I feel like, we see our self-hate the self-hate is evident. It's evident that we've internalized many of the same messages that, are out here for all people to internalize. I don't think that we're immune from, like, this society is based on the hatred of black folks. This society is, the blacker you are, the more you're hated. And I feel like we're not immune to that. Like, you see it when we're like, ew, she got nappy hair. Ew, she black. Ew, you with a black woman. Ew, you with a dusty black man. Ew. I mean, Jay-Z got a big nose. Jay-Z is ugly. He got big lips. That little girl is ugly. Her hair is nappy. That's like that's the same hatred. We got, that's the same. Um so I feel like we're all a part of this system of white supremacy, and I feel like we're all part of maintaining the system of white supremacy. That's like my new, I'm just like really like, having a whole different perspective on that here recently. Yeah, that story is coming off of the grill. That's some bullshit. That's it says she slammed. I don't know who she being slammed by, but whoever's, whatever. Jamel Hill, that's my girl. Even though I don't quite know how to pronounce her name. Is it Jamil? Jamele? Mele. What's up, Mele? Jamele? Jamil? Jamel? I don't know. Ms. Hill. Um drunken man upset at receiving the middle, finger by black folks, yells racist slur, retrieves gun, and then it says, this is the quote, "You nigger, comma, think you can flip me off?" Question mark, end quote. So somebody gave this person the finger, not to y'all, but the middle finger, showed it to him. And I'm guessing, I didn't read the story, I don't know what the deal is, but like without knowing anything, I'm just figuring that the black person was probably provoked. Like that the white person probably came all up in their face and was cussing them out and acting crazy. And the black person was just like, F you. And so then the white went and got a gun and it's like, you think you can flip me off, N-word? I'm gonna kill you. So here we are again. You're holding a gun to me. You're threatening my life because I showed you a finger. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Are Jay-Z and the NFL bankrolling a nonprofit that thinks that cutting blacks' locks is progress? So y'all saw this? I saw it this morning on Twitter. It was like this blonde woman who was cutting off, or I think I saw two images of blonde women, but I didn't know if it was the same woman or not. But cutting off this black person's locks, these two black people's locks. And I guess it's kind of like these programs where they're like, oh, you need a job, so we're going to give you a suit. That's going to make you more employable. Oh, you need a job, so we're going to cut off your locks. That's going to make you employable. Because, of course, as a black person, your hair is what holds you back in the society. It's your hair, not white folks, not the system of racism, white supremacy, not bullshit. It's your locks. That's the problem. If we cut them locks, then you're going to have a much better life. If we cut your natural hair the way it's growing out of your natural head in the way that black folks have naturally, because locks are before Rastafarians, the Mau Mau in Kenya. Locks are, that's just like, we black. That's what our hair does. That's like just the So anyway, the whole Jay Z NFL locks. So that part of the story, it's just that's crazy. And then I hadn't really. We were talking about this morning. I ain't never been no fan or non-fan of Jay Z. I don't really know nothing about him. I knew he was married to Beyonce. I barely know anything about Beyonce. I heard he cheated on her, and I think somebody was saying he admitted it. I don't know. But that kind of makes you like, if I was neutral, that kind of like made me kind of a little like, And then what else did I hear about Jay Z? I guess I heard that he was a drug dealer. That kind of make you like, But I kind of look at that kind of neutrally in a way, because you don't know where people's consciousness is and what, kind of where they were. Now this whole thing with the NFL, I'm like, he's like low, like ill, like Jay Z. Like it's nothing that he could say to me. I can't imagine him saying or doing anything. Like it's like if I had like if he was, medium to low, it's like I have no respect for him whatsoever. Like I don't know. Like he's just like ew. Like he's a straight capitalist piece of boo boo. The way it looks to me. Single mother creates juveniles. Locks were worn in Mesopotamia. I didn't know that, but it makes sense because Sonia says it makes sense because I like when I had locks. It's like it fits our hair. Like I can't imagine how we haven't been doing locks forever. Um, so Jay Z, the NFL, and then him partnering with the NFL, like that's just like Colin Kaepernick. I didn't really know anything about him one way or the other, but it's like everything I've heard about him since he's come to public prominence, or like the consciousness of people like me who aren't sports people or whatever. I didn't know who he was. I'm not saying I love him, but like I feel like everything I hear, my estimation of him goes up and up and up and up and up. I like the fact that he don't talk a lot, but he actually blamed crime on single mothers. Oh yeah, I'm not even gonna make a comment about that because that's like a whole conversation. That's some ignorant, dumb bullshit. So that's coming off of the griot. So it's like to me, it's like Jay. He tumbling, tumbling, tumbling. If I don't. I mean, I don't even know if he really had that low to go. But I'm just saying he wasn't. But yeah. All right. So that's coming off the griot. If you want to read it again, do it, achieve it. Keisha Knight Pulliam. Isn't she the one who had that child with that man who was married to a woman from a reality show? Keisha Knight Pulliam used to be on the Cosby Show. She was like the little baby sister. She was the cute little baby sister before she grew up, and then they brought in a little light skinned baby girl, right? That's Keisha Knight Pulliam, I think. Do it, achieve it. Keisha Knight Pulliam launches venture capital fund for Black female entrepreneurs. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. There's another headline not too far up that we'll come to in a minute. And is that the same venture capitalist fund, or are there a whole bunch of venture capitalist funds out here for Black women? A lot of times when you're trying to start a business, especially, it's hard for us to get loans. And I mean, loans are, they are what they are, but it's good if you can get investors sometime, and just to have different options for getting money, getting investors, resources and support from people who, because the bank is kind of theoretically like just money, but a venture capitalist invests in you or can invest in you in a different way. She grew up to be a beautiful woman. I think Jay Z is done. He needs to be done. He needs to go sit down someplace. He needs to go sit down and regroup, because I feel like how much more money do you need, sir? I mean, y'all are cool. You doing well. Like you doing this for money? Is he doing it for fame? Is he doing it for clout? Like fame and clout with who? With white folks? Like I feel like, so you're trying to gain fame and clout with, not with Black folks. I don't think he's trying to do it with Black folks. You're trying to gain it with white folks by selling out. Like that's like, how can you respect yourself? How can anybody respect you like that? You clearly, I don't know what you're doing, bro, but like just go on and sit down someplace. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing else about him, because I feel like he's already like, I don't like to be thinking negative about people. I don't like to have a bad opinion about people. Go sit down someplace and be quiet and try to, just go on somewhere. Um, so Atlanta Black Star Keisha Knight Pulliam Fund for Black Women. So I'm for that. I don't know. They say black female. Female, it's something about that term that just I don't know what to make of it. Um, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. Black four-star general's name remains on Cleveland High School that is literally falling apart. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. I don't know what the name of the person was. I hit the article, but now I can't remember his name. It was not familiar to me. But I guess they kind of feel like, well, dang, the school is falling apart, and it's kind of like it's like a disrespect to this four-star general. A four-star general is somebody in the military, in the American military, like the military of this country, and he's ascended to the heights. I mean, how do you ascend to the heights of anything in this country and be about anything progressive? I mean, I'm just wondering because it's like the foundation of this country is so negative and regressive and like evil and demonic. Like, how can you be about anything in like, how does that work? I don't think it, I don't, yeah, that don't work. I don't understand that. It don't work. Female could be a cat, dog, or livestock. Yeah. Um, So, Fearless, that's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Did I say that? Fearless Fund launches, oh, so maybe this is the same story. Fearless Fund launches $5 million VC venture capital fund built by and for Black women, comma, this for you, Sonia, women of color. That story is coming off of moguldom.com. Buffalo man charged with hate crime after physically attacking biting Black woman during apparent road rage dispute. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Biting. I remember when I was like, we might have been like 5 or 6. One of my first cousins, she used to be a biter for a little while, and but I don't know. That just biting. I mean, I guess like we were just saying, you don't put anything past them. They liable to do anything. So I guess biting is in the realm of anything. Who out here biting people? I guess the same people out here pulling guns on people and shooting up random people they don't know. I guess I don't. Yeah, nasty and unprovoked. 9-month-old baby assaulted by racist man throwing eggs. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. So prayers out to the women, children, and men who are, constantly attacked physically, literally, figuratively, emotionally, financially, spiritually by these demons. And just, prayers out for all of us, for our strength, for our clarity, and, just ongoing invitation. We know the ancestors out there fighting for us, but just ongoing invitation for support and love and clear and just it's a mess. It's a mess. We are not safe. They are actually hunting for us. And that's how they act too. And that's how it is. We must move closer together, all black environments. And then I kind of think about like, okay, so we're all together. Like if you look at, the Move community in Philly or the Tulsa, Oklahoma crew, or there used to be like all black towns in different places throughout this country. And so then we know at least in 2 cases where they bombed those communities from above by us all being there together. It seems like it makes us, I don't know if it makes us an easy target, but it's sort of like even when we move together and we have guns, do we have like shields to protect us from bombs? Do we have like, we need walls? We need walls and shields so that we can just live our life and be at peace and not have to deal with these demons coming in, attacking us, bothering us when we're just trying to mind our own business. When we're just sleeping in our bed with our woman and our baby, to be, we're just minding our own business. Um, that story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. I hadn't heard that's just the only place I've seen it Wild horses in North Carolina won't evacuate because they have their own survival, their own trick to survive hurricanes. So, what the horses do is they huddle together and they turn their butts or their backside toward the wind. And that's how they survive hurricanes. This story is coming off of Google Feed Proxy. Have you ever heard of such a thing? I mean, the animals must have some kind of strategy. I was just like, what kind of? That was wild. Hmm. People, it's a whole, but it's other black towns we haven't heard of. Before we heard of Tulsa or Move or whatever, we hadn't heard of them, except for some people had, but not all of us. Like now, Black Wall Street, it's like it's in everybody's mouth, but before it wasn't. Um, One of the 14 women suing Lyft says a driver raped her. So she's riding in a Lyft car. The driver raped her. Then he stole her phone and added a $25 tip to the ride. That's coming off of Google Feed Proxy, feedproxy.google.com. So it's like he raped her and then he paid himself for raping her with her money. I guess he raped her and he robbed her. I guess the digital way to rob somebody is to like add money to their to that's the story. Missouri cop chases black man out of mall. So we're in Missouri. A cop chases a black man out of a mall and then fires 7 times, meaning he used his gun and shot 7 times, killing him because they spotted a gun at his waist. And of course, this is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. I dispute that headline. I don't feel like that person was killed because they spotted anything. So rest in peace to that man who made his transition and to his family and his community and all of us. But I dispute that. I don't feel like we were killed because you spotted a gun in my waistband. I don't feel we were killed because I wouldn't put out my cigarette in my own car when you stopped me for some bogus BS. I don't feel like we were killed because I was selling Lucy cigarettes. I don't feel like we were killed because my pants were low. I don't feel like we were killed because we had on hoodies. I feel like we were killed because you're barbarians, because you're demons, and because you're killing black folks. You're out here executing black folks. It's not because of me or anything that I've done. It's because of you. It's because of them. Not you, but it's because of them. Open season on us. That story again is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Newly released video shows Indianapolis cop not only punched black teen who had his head down, but held him in a headlock. Family files lawsuit. So this is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. A teen, enough, all of the stuff we've been saying this whole episode or edition of Notes on the News. A lot of that's going to apply on this story as well. In this particular case, which is so rare and unusual, I think that the cops lied and they said it was one thing, but in fact, it was another thing. And there was video evidence to dispute the lie that the cops told. So they're filing a lawsuit, and again, the teen, the trauma, because you figure even when grown folks, when you experience stuff, it has a long term impact on you, and you've already had, like, I remember when I had that situation where somebody tried to rape me. I was 40, 45 years old when that happened. So I had 40, 45 years of nobody trying to rape me. And so even though it was a trauma, it wasn't like if it had happened when I was 4 or 5 or it happened when I was 10, then that would have like set the tone for my expectation going forward. But I had so much background, like almost 50 years, 40 years of everything is cool, that like I was able to process it better. But these young people, their whole identity is based on terrorizing us. But these young people, says Sonia sees, and that, yeah. But these young people, it's like they've lived so little that's going to imprint them and impact the rest of their lives. They don't have like a lot to counterbalance that experience. It's not just like one day out of 40 years, it's one day out of 20 years. It's like they just young. Black students file 50-page lawsuit for racist bullying at Minnesota high school. That's coming off of the Griot.com. I like to see young people fighting back in the ways that they fight back. I like to see young people who are resisting. I may not agree with their strategies or techniques necessarily. I don't know if I necessarily disagree with them, but it makes me feel I feel inspired when I think about young people fighting. It's like as much as they have tried to kill our spirits, as much as they have tried to demoralize us, as much as they have tried to enslave us so that we just accept our position as slaves, we just keep fighting. And it's something very inspirational to me when, it's like truth cut to the ground will rise again. You put all them chemicals on the grass, but them dandelions is coming back because they're natural and they're stronger than your chemicals, and you can't kill them. You can't kill the truth. You can't kill our spirit. You can't kill our resistance. So that story again is coming off the Griot. How Alcatraz prisoners reform their sense of future identity through art. I'm a big person about like art and art therapy, and what isn't that thing? Art should comfort the the oppressed and oppress the comfortable, or there's something, that's not the right quote, but there's like something to me about um music and dance and theater and writing and creating that's just very beautiful and very powerful and very, it's like the bomb. It's like it's powerful. I'm a fan of it. Damn, girl, I didn't know you was over 45. Shoot. That's right. I am. Speaks to the soul. It speaks to the soul. Yeah, it's like, and it's like your soul speaks through it. It's like it's some people like Nina Simone, for example, who I love. It's like something about her work that just really, really speaks to me. But I feel like there's something very pure about who she was that comes out in her work. I feel like there are other aspects of who she this the not true stuff or the BS came out in other ways, but I feel like in her work, it's just really it's something. It's so I'm all here. Like I feel like if you're for if whatever it is that we do that's creative, it's very very important. I think gardening can be creative. I don't know why, but it's something about that connecting to the earth and touching the earth and building and relating to the earth and life and but drawing and painting and singing and dancing and storytelling and writing and cooking and it's like all of that stuff. It's like it's rejuvenating. It brings us energy. It's like it recharges us and it recharges other people. Like so. Yeah. Okay. So how Alcatraz prisoners reform their sense of future identity through art. Reform. That's coming off of mogulum.com. South Africa embassy closes in Nigeria after, again, xenophobic violence. This story, again, is coming off of the BBC. So they're pushing this narrative. I don't have any mainstream. I think Yahoo and BBC are the only mainstream, but they show BBC is pushing this xenophobia. And the president in South Africa, I think, said xenophobia. I dispute it. I don't accept it. I'm with the EFF. We were once so close to the earth. Yeah, and I think I think it's like there's literally like this thing where you ground yourself, where you let your feet touch the earth, you let your body touch the earth, and it's healing and it's grounding and it resets and it recharges us. Sand, earth, like just contact. Just like I feel like skin to skin contact is grounding and important. foods that like getting your foods from the earth, relating to mother nature. Like we have all this air conditioning going and we're so shut in and we're hermetically sealed in plastic and we're not like breathing like the earth exhales and inhales and we're like cut off from that and we're not touching the earth and we don't get fruits off it, like we're alienated from ourselves and from mama earth. And we, it's like any opportunity that we have to connect to something natural, to connect to something real, to connect to something authentic, to connect to something God made, just direct person to person, with no straight, no chaser, no barrier, no interpretation. It's a good thing when you can hear the ocean, when you can feel the sun on your skin directly with nothing shielding you from it, when you can breathe the fresh air, like all of that stuff is we that's an important part of connecting with ourselves, and building ourselves and rejuvenating ourselves, healing ourselves, knowing and understanding ourselves. Um, Former K campgrounds of America worker in Mississippi convicted after pulling gun on black couple, but won't face jail time. I'm so shocked and confused. He won't face jail time, or she. I don't know if it's a he or a she. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Video: angry South Dakota man approaches unsuspecting group of young black men, threatens them with alleged gun. Like Sonia said, they're hunting us. What do we ever do with anybody? To anybody? Can't we all just get along? I mean, they literally just out here wilding out. And I guess it's nothing new. It feels like something feels different, but I don't think that it is essentially different. I think if it like the on the surface something may be different, but at core I think it's the same. But it feels different. We lost touch with our roots, our earth connection. Yeah, we have to, when you go outside, let your hands touch a tree, touch the ground, breathe the air. Like we have to like consciously connect with Mama Earth. We have to consciously connect with things natural. We have to consciously connect with one another. How can we more consciously connect with what's real, what's authentic, what's natural? Because that's us. Um, so that was coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Reviving Colombia's language of resistance. This is coming off of BBC. But I watched this video. This is a group in Colombia. They say that the first free African community in the Americas was in Colombia. Ooh, I really want to go there. But I saw these young people. I was gonna say these kids. I saw these young people on a YouTube video, and it's like there's a rap group, and they're teaching their native language, which is like a Creole or like a mixed language with Spanish and I don't know where in Africa a lot of these people are from, but when you watch that video, them people are black. Those people have nappy hair. Like I really want to go to that community. Let me pull this up and see. Let me pull that up and see what the name of these people are. Because I watched the video, and then this article is actually about those same people. I shouldn't say the video, because there may be more than one video on YouTube. Tiela Ripa volunteers want more children to be able to speak the Creole language of their ancestors. Sanacho, Palenquero, Palenquero is one of 68 languages found in Colombia and is a mix of Spanish and African Bantu languages. But with a few thousand speakers, it has not been easy to keep the language alive. That's one of the guys. I was gonna say I don't know if you can see how black he is, but all you can probably see is black because the way the lighting is hitting and everything. Um, it's the first free town in the Americas. It's 30 miles from the Caribbean coast. It's most known for the Palanqueras, women in colorful dresses who walk the streets of the tourist colonial city of Cartagena, I don't know, selling fruits and sweets. Um, the founder of San Basilio de Palenque is Bancos Biojo. I've never even heard of him. Say his name. He wants the next generation to know of their roots. Look at this old cute little black guy. He say that Palenquero is for, poorly spoken Spanish. And that's what they say with all of our languages. Like whatever we do is like, oh, you can't speak English, so you speaking that Ebonics or slang or whatever they. It's like whatever anything black is bad, anything black is wrong, anything we do to some people is wrong. And I have an opposite approach. I think everything we do is good, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. Not everything, but you understand what I'm saying. I feel like we out here surviving and thriving and creating, and we're beautiful and we're powerful. Um, but it's a rap group from this region of the world that's getting some attention. They're not in this story, but or from what I can see, just skimming it. It's also amazing how the rhythm of the Native Americans of the Amazon is African. They jealous of our flavor. Yeah. Um, Here are some famous or some fabulous films showing the 20. Oh, here are some fabulous films showing at the 23rd annual Urban World Film Festival. That's coming off of thegrio.com. Have I ever heard of the Urban World Film Festival? This ain't the one in Miami. I don't know, but anyway, that's coming off of the Grio. If you want to get some more information about it, niche home sharing sites roll out welcome mats for minorities. So I told y'all when we were in Costa Rica, my first B&B. It was everybody who stayed, all of us, all four of us, had never stayed at an Airbnb before, and it was a good experience. And then we stayed at another place, which was technically an Airbnb, but we didn't come to it through the app. We came to it, a person introduced us to a person, and then we stayed in a place, and they is listed on Airbnb. Casa Shakir, Shaquir. You should go when you go to Costa Rica because it's the bomb. It's a beautiful, beautiful space. But it, moving around again, and it's like I feel like I didn't have a bad experience, but I was nervous because I had heard so much about black folks having bad experiences on Airbnb. People talking about where the other monkey gonna sleep, or one of y'all monkeys gotta go, or people breaking in through the windows because the black people are staying in their Airbnb, and they like, get out, Negro, even though they rented it to them. They just act crazy. They crazy. They not acting. They just crazy because they crazy. But so there's these niche sites that focus on like Noir, Noir B&B. I think is one. I had said we were talking about going someplace, and I said I wanted to check out Noir B&B for a place to stay. Oh, I know what we were talking about. We were looking for a place around here. So and then there's one for Muslims. There's one for gay folks. Whatever. So that's what this article is about, and that's coming off of thegrio.com. Do y'all stay at Airbnb? I mean, a lot of black folks, like my cousin, when we went to Costa Rica, he liked my play cousin, stay at Airbnb. People tell me, but I'm like, I don't know. But we had an okay experience, but I feel like that was just the luck of the draw. They have hidden cameras, as Sonia says, at the Airbnb and avoid the white folks. I can't take no more ghetto gangster hood movies. Is that what's at the Urban World Festival? Should they call it the Ghetto Gangster Hood Movie Festival? Yeah, we should do Airbnbs black only. That's what I was saying. That Noir, Noirbnb, I think is like black Airbnb. So I want to check that out to see what was like in this area. He will kill the next one. North Carolina white man who punched 11-year-old black girl gets off with racial justice training. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. So prayers out to that little girl 11 years old, punched by that grown man, um, and whoever else he's victimized, because he out here. That's what the headline is trying to say. He's out here attacking people. If he just started with that little black girl, he's not gonna finish with her. I don't believe, and I don't have a lot of faith in the racial justice training. um, University student charged with hate crime after hanging noose in dorm elevator. That story is coming off of thegrio.com. Not good enough to bury next to white folks. More than 120 coffins uncovered in forgotten Tampa Black Cemetery. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. It's something to me about this forgetting, like our ancestors, our culture, our family, our religions, our belief systems, like we're alienated. That's what we're talking about. We're alienated from ourselves. It's like if you don't know who your people are, I don't know. Like that's kind of how it's like. I'm like, well, who are your people? Now, part of the reason why I feel like I was trained that way is because my mother has 80 something first cousins, so I have a lot of like close relatives out there. So when I meet people, I'm like, well, who are your people? Because I have to know if we're related. And I've told y'all that I actually have met someone out partying in New York. And I'm like, well, who are your people? Where are you from? Well, I'm Mount Vernon. Well, I got people in Mount Vernon and we cousins. So no, who are your people? But also, like, I feel like, how do you know who you are if you don't know who your people are? And I'm not just talking about your people who are alive. I'm like, we come from a lineage. Like, that's who we are. How can we be like we must know who we are. We must know who our ancestors are. We must know who we come from in order to know who we are. No more burials, please, black folks. Cremation from now on is a ripoff, says Sonia Sees. That's a child abuser. Yeah, among other things. That man who hit that 11-year-old. Yeah. So anyway, these burial grounds. Now this wasn't like something. This is like ancient stuff. Like when I was in New York, they were trying to build some corporation, some commercial thing, and they accidentally let us know that they had unearthed some bones of some black folks, and we were like, it's an ancient burial ground, and they're like, hurry up, put the cement on so we can get our building up and make money. Where your people from, right? Who are your people? Who are you? That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Mother teaching teenage son to drive, shot dead in heartbreaking road rage incident. This is coming off the Rio, but I think we just hit that same story a minute ago. Um, so just prayers out to all of us, that family, that community. 9.4% of Americans have diabetes. Sugar, the white gold of slavery, addicts us all. This is coming off of moguldom.com. All that sugar is evil, just on every single level you can think of. The only thing that's good about sugar is that it kind of tastes good. But is that enough? Is that all that? Is that the only determining factor in what we're doing with our lives? Is that something tastes good? Is that it? As long as it tastes good, I don't care who got hurt in the making of it. As long as it tastes good, I don't care how much it messes my body up. As long as it tastes good, I don't care if I have to get my foot cut off. As long as it tastes good, I don't care if people been enslaved for it or they lost a hand for it. As long as it tastes good, that's all that counts. As long as it tastes good. That story is coming off of moguldom.com. Black woman with $90,000 salary blocked from living in black but gentrifying New York City enclave. This is in Brooklyn. I think when I read this story, she was trying to get housing in the community I used to live in. I used to live in Bed-Stuy. I used to be do or die Bed-Stuy. But I think that Brooklyn and Harlem and all of that is like different now than it used to be in the early 90s. 93, 2003, 2013. That's almost like 30 years ago, 25, 30 years ago. So I guess it's just like a whole nother place. What's the cycle of gentrification? What's the cycle of whiteification? Like, for how long do they leave a community before they come back and take it over again? Is it a 50-year cycle, a 20-year cycle, a 5-year cycle, a 40-year cycle? What's the cycle? I think there's a cycle. I just don't know what it is, but that's my theory. I think it's a cycle. I don't know why I'm asking. I'm just curious. Does it make a difference? I don't know. Google, what they're trying to say with this $90,000, they're trying to say, if we said earlier that the average income of folks was $50,000, she got $90,000 salary. Like she's, and they were giving her. Oh, that was the other thing. They were giving her a hard time. They wanted had her filling out all of this paperwork, and then they said that her work history is not stable. She don't pay her bills, and it's like it's the opposite of what the paperwork showed. They were just harassing her. But you know what it reminded me of? I had gotten a place in applied, and it was in Soho, but it was like right in like near Little Italy in New York. And it was a new build. They were like building the building. When we moved in, they were still doing finishing on some of the floors. And when we applied for that place, the the stuff that we had to go through, I call it hell. But it was like we had to give them so much information. I was running my business. Like we had to give them so much information. And after all of the information they gave us and our income, which was well in alignment with the cost of the apartment, they wanted us to get a cosigner. At that point, I was already like growing increasingly annoyed during the process. At the point where they said they wanted a cosigner, I'm like, F you. I gave them the finger, and I didn't do that literally, but I'm like, no. And that's it. It's a wrap. I'm done. I really have done too much. But my husband at the time really wanted the place. So, but by that time, it was like, it wasn't anything he could have said. I'm like, we're not getting any cosigner. We're not giving you anything else. You have more than enough information. That's it. That's all you got, you know? And then they're like, okay, you can come live here. Now I'm like, shit. I mean, excuse my language. Now I'm like, I should have never, because it's like, I'm not giving you anything else. And then I proceeded to pay them rent. We proceeded to pay them rent for the year or 3 years or however long we lived there. After all of that mess they put me through, begging them to be able to give them money. So when I was reading that story, I kind of skimmed it. It reminded me of that. I'm like, I've been through that. And I feel like I would never, like, not, like, I'm like, that was just ridiculous. And that was some bull. But that's what you go through, you know? And the good thing, the one, I mean, there were some good things about that place. It was like central to everything. And I moved around a lot, like I was working here, I was working here, I was doing, I was like all over the place. And it was like almost like I was just like right in the middle of everything because I was downtown and like all of the trains came in right there. And it was just like very, very convenient. And there was this little place, I can't remember, it was an ice cream shop, and they were basically like a wholesale ice cream shop. Their product was made right like down the street from me. And there was this really nice Italian restaurant I used to go to. They used to make their pasta from scratch, their sauces from scratch. They used to do this sauteed spinach with garlic. I don't even like garlic, but that was delicious. But that was like right across the street. And their food, it seemed like it was something else I would get from there that I just loved. But this little ice cream shop, it was another attack because it was like right outside of Little Italy. But it was this ice cream shop. They did wholesale, but they had a little window. It was like probably about this size, like just enough for you to like see somebody's head and for them to hand you a pint of ice cream and you give them like, it was like $2 or $3. But in the store, the ice cream was like $4 or $5. That ice cream was so delicious. But I would never. I'm like the foolishness. So what do we use? Stevia? I don't know. I think that we have to like rethink. This it might be worth doing some reading and some research just to think about. Like we've been trained to think the way that I grew up, you could always get 1 pound and 5 pound bags of sugar. They're just like ubiquitous. They're everywhere and they're super, super cheap. And it's like you just grew up like feeling like sugar, sugar, sugar. It's just abundant and it's plentiful and you just use it. But that's like a recent development in human history. We have not always been so sugar oriented, certainly. And we've also not been so sweet oriented. Like our taste buds have been kind of reshifted, and you can you can personally reshift your taste buds. But I use stuff like dates. I use natural sugars, like not stevia. I've never gotten into stevia or stevia, but I mean I don't know. I used to use 100% maple syrup. I've used agave syrup. I'll use honey. But I've tried to shift as much as possible, and I continue to work on that so that I don't have to think, oh, after every meal I have to have dessert. Every time I eat something, I have to have something sweet. In my pasta sauce, I have to put sugar. Like I think we use like they're in the whole sugar industry had a whole campaign to reorient recipes to use sugar in them. But I think we're just like really sugar oriented in a way that's not of service to our bodies. It's not of service to the workers. It's just not of service. It's not of service to the earth the way that sugar is grown and cultivated. Sugar is some bull. Like I just feel like it's worth doing the research to kind of like begin to try to look at things a different way. But it's like an ongoing battle because I get occasional sweet tooth. I have a serious sweet tooth. It's worth the battle because sugar is so evil. But it's like a continuous battle because even like you get something like ketchup, it's full of sugar. Things that you might not think of as having sugar in them have sugar in them. And for those of us who are sugar, like I'm sweet sensitive, like I love a sweet. It's like it draws you right back in. Um, but yeah, sugar is some bull. So much for corporate accommodation. I don't even know what that means. um, Google says tracking cookies will hurt publisher GWAP. That's coming off of moguldom.com. And when I pulled that article, it was interesting. Now I can't remember what was interesting about it. So I'm going to keep it moving. Black man already tried. Like he's been on trial already 6 times for 1996 murders, is now looking at a seventh trial. That's coming off of the Grio.com, Grio.com. He's a gang intervention worker. California police call him a gang member. So he out here trying to work on your behalf. He trying to work with the police. He like, I'm one of the good guys. And they like, you a gang member. They harassing this man. I can't remember what the story is. They just doing what they do. It's coming off of moguldom.com. Shocking video shows homeless teen stripped, gagged, and whipped for allegedly stealing a chocolate bar in Brazil. This is in Brazil. But in on one hand, people are like, oh, that's Brazil. It's so backwards. It's so crazy. If I hadn't said the story, if that story was coming off of Brazil, would it have shocked you if it had happened in the United States? And do you believe that it hasn't happened in the United States? That a teenager was stripped, gagged, and whipped, like they stuffed something in his mouth. They took all his clothes off, and then they beat him for allegedly stealing a chocolate bar. And we know, I don't believe it's because he was stealing. I believe it's because he's black, and this hatred of blackness is like a worldwide. It seems like it's growing to me too. Um, Michigan becomes the first state. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star, that story on the Brazilian child. And prayers out to that family and that community. Michigan becomes the first state to ban flavored e-cigarettes. That's coming off of BBC.co. The mixed children of Belgium took from their mothers under colonial rule. Um, so these children were mixed, like they were biracial, and they took the mixed children from their black mothers and then took them to Europe to raise them. And so those children were brutalized, harassed, humiliated, degraded, cut off from any connection to their black culture. I guess physically, a lot of them could tell that they had some connection to blackness, but just like alienated. That's been our word for the day. Alienated, just alienated from the black part of themselves. and I guess just really, really indoctrinated and deeply made to get to know the European part of themselves. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black. Oh no, that story is coming off of BBC. Um, okay, Belgium festival draws intense criticism over savage blackface character. It maintains a degrading image. That story is coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Well, I got two different stories about Belgium coming off of two different news sources. Um, Atlanta cop sentenced to 5 years after violently choking black teen for no apparent reason until he lost consciousness. So this is a headline on Atlanta Black Star. Now I also kind of feel like this our news sources and when we're reporting these stories, it says for no apparent reason. And maybe you can't, as a news source, you can't just say because they racist pigs, because they hate just because of hatred of blackness. But I just feel like our headlines have to get better because see, when they say that, when our headlines say he stole for supposedly stealing a chocolate bar, as if that's a reason for choking somebody to death or shooting them, or we thought we saw a gun on his headband, so on his in his waistband, so we killed him, as if that's a reason. And so now the headline is like, for no apparent reason. Like, is there ever a reason for this brutality other than they're brutes? I mean, I don't know. Like, I just kind of, these headlines kind of get on my nerves. It is a white sexual act to choke someone out. Is that like how they do it in snuff films, or is that like one of the many things they do in snuff films? I don't know. But yeah. Um, yeah, maybe it was sexual. And I feel like a lot of their violence and brutality has to do with sex in perhaps sex in the overt, I'm sexually excited sense. But I also think of sex in terms of reproduction, fear of a black planet, trying to kill. Oh, did y'all see there's some videos on Twitter I saw yesterday. They were old videos, but of these people, white males, talking about how they were sent, they were paid, their job was going to different parts of Africa and pretend to be giving people like, um, like these, I'm going to give you a shot of this and it's going to help you. It's going to immunize you from this. But they were actually injecting AIDS in them because they were trying to get rid of black folks, and then different things that they've done to try to sterilize black folks. These are old videos, so you've probably seen them in another context. But Be Fabulous You on Twitter. If you hit my Twitter feed now, it should be kind of like at the top, BEFABULOUS YOU. It should be kind of like at the top. But then, like one of the guys I was telling Ayapo, we didn't look at it together, but it was like he just seemed so like gleeful or happy or like, and I mean, I don't know why it's a surprise to me. Like I should know it, but it's like something in the way he looked. I'm like, he looks happy, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit. Like not a lot, because they liable to do anything, but it still freaks me out a little bit that they're liable to do anything. Um, Remember that Native American woman in Alaska that got choked out and masturbated on? The judge set the white guy free because he felt he had a great life ahead of him. No, I remember that. But I mean, that's that type of story. Like I've heard that type of story before. Um, how are we gonna get out of this? How are we gonna get out of this mess? Um, Trump administration to impose additional fees for Nigerian visa applicants. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Eating nuts twice a week linked with lower risk of death from heart disease. That's coming off of Yahoo. It seems like a lot of people don't know this. I don't know where I heard it. I didn't know it all the time, but with nuts, you're supposed to soak them before you eat them, or that's my understanding of it. You're supposed to soak them. Some people dehydrate them. Again, we were talking about this the other day with this woman, but you there is something it's something you got to soak them to make them like digestible to your system. You know, um, Now seeds it's a different thing, but nuts you got to soak them. Um, Schools in France to display flags in classrooms. That's coming off of BBC. Dozens arrested in South Africa as looting rocks Johannesburg. That's coming off of BBC. BBC staying on top of this South Africa story. Hell's Gate, 7 bodies found after tour group swept away by flood. That's BBC. Reports Israel army faked casualties in Hezbollah attack. That's coming off of Yahoo. Your life will end. Representative Ilhan Omar shares letter of death threat. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. I bet you that woman be getting all kinds of death threats and just nasty, mean, BITCHNIGGER, all kinds of like awful letters and correspondence and messages from the crazies. Researchers help French police dismantle a crypto mining botnet. This is something technical. What's a botnet? I don't know what a botnet is. What's a botnet? That's coming off of Engadget.com. Monkeys, dogs, and pigs. After years of racial abuse, genocide, West Papuans continue fight for freedom from Indonesia. Ayapo? Hi. Is that? I think I hear somebody outside. Oh no, that's. Oh, that's dropping in. Okay. Dorian slams Bahamas with record-setting force. Eyes Florida. This is old. That's coming off of the Grio. Truly beautiful. Naomi Osaka and Coco Gauff win praise for embracing each other after the match. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Everybody's been talking about it. Monkeys, dogs, and pigs, Sonia. After years of probably because I was listening to they got that is it Alexa drop in like it's weird to me. Yeah. Monkeys, dogs, and pigs. After years of racial abuse, genocide, West Papuans continue fight for freedom from Indonesia. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. DOJ, Department of Justice, sues Baltimore County Police over alleged racial discrimination against prospective black hires. Alleged racial discrimination. Y'all know it's alleged. Okay. Sorry, Naomi ain't beautiful. Who is Naomi? Oh, they're saying that the sisterhood is beautiful. The biracial, embracing the black, the older woman helping the younger woman. That little baby girl Coco, she was just crying. That was it just she was so 15. It was so touching. It's nice to see these athletes who have it all together and are so professional and so grown even at a young age. Like by the time we saw Serena and Venus and Serena Williams, I don't know if we've ever seen them seem like little children. They always seem very poised and polished, and they were always just so gracious. And I think their parents did an excellent job with them. I'm not saying this baby Coco's parents didn't do a good job with her, but it was sweet seeing her. She was like a little girl because she is a little girl. She like 15, 16. She under all this pressure, and I thought it was sweet of the child of Naomi to, it looks sweet to me. Now maybe in her ear she was like, but it looks sweet, and I was here for it. I'm here for. Okay. I'm here for it. I get tired of hearing stories of people fighting and trying to tear each other down. I'd rather hear the stories of people trying to big up each other and support each other. And hey, we can be competitors, but I don't hate you, sis, little sis. I want you to, it's okay. I'm here for it. DOJ sues Baltimore County Police over alleged racial discrimination against prospective black hires. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. They need to quit. Okay. This alleged. R. Kelly refuses to share jail cell. He says that he has too much going on. That's coming off of thegrio.com. Motorists forced to intervene to stop crazed white Washingtonian state man from abusing black mother walking by with her baby. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Conservative firebrand Toni Lauren admitted her Freedom clothing line is not made in America after backlash. It's such a surprise and a shock that these people are hypocrites. It's just surprising. No sympathy for R. Kelly. Well, he has too much going on, Sonia. You don't need your sympathy. He has too much going on. He's The TSA has reversed its ban on Star Wars grenade-shaped sodas, which can fly in checked luggage. So for all of you guys who are into grenade-shaped sodas, the Star Wars brand in particular, you can go ahead and put that in your checked luggage. At least 13 black children have lost their lives in St. Louis gun violence in 5 months, and now City is offering $100,000 to solve cases. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. So prayers out to the children who have lost their lives. Unigger, 70-year-old white man claims neighbors provoked his vile, racist attacks despite restraining orders. So I guess he lived next door to the people. They got a restraining order against him because he's a problem. He's a damn problem. And now he's saying it's their fault that he attacked them. They provoked it, probably by existing. Why are you breathing? Why are you black? You're causing me to call you the N-word. Are we sure it's not the police doing these killings? Too much 12 play. No, I'm not sure it's not the police doing these killings at all. I think that in a lot of these cases, shoot, I heard somebody advance in Detroit during the rebellions, the riots, whatever you want to call it. I heard somebody advance that the cops were out there setting fires, and a lot of the fires that they were setting were to black revolutionary places, like certain black bookstores or certain places where black folks gather together and express resistance and strategize. I had never heard that before. But again, like we started off saying, I wouldn't put anything past them except for acting humanely. Now that I might put past them, but anything in the category of barbarism and brutality and demonicness and evil doing, I wouldn't put it. I don't know, but I wouldn't be. It wouldn't surprise me on some level. I mean, it might shock me or surprise me on one level, but on another level, if I think about it, I mean, they liable to do anything. And the evidence is there. The history is there. It's undeniable. So no, it wouldn't surprise me. Hong Kong protesters clash with police in airport and shut down roads as cause grow for British protection. That's coming off of Yahoo. French air traffic control outage hits UK flights. That's coming off of BBC. Watch, dashcam video captures extremely disturbing behavior by Louisiana cops following high-speed chase of black driver. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Watch, naked white murder suspect attacks police officer and gets taken alive. That's coming off of the Grio. Serena Williams, Coco Gauff, Taylor Townsend, and more bring black girl magic to U.S. Open. The Atlanta Black Star. Y'all watch tennis? My mama watched some tennis. I don't know. I don't even understand how you keep score in tennis. It's like you have to serve in order to get up. I don't understand. I don't understand. And I used to play volleyball, and I think it's similar in volleyball, but I only played volleyball for a short period of time, and I don't think I really understood exactly how the scoring was working in volleyball either. I just would try to hit the ball. More fires burning in Congo and Angola than Amazon. That story is coming off of mobilim.com. Y'all been seeing those headlines. And I'm not, it's like I haven't really gotten into the Amazon thing. I haven't really studied or thought much about this stuff. So but it wouldn't surprise me. Like they're basically saying it's worse for the black folks and it's worse in the black area than it is for the brown folks. But of course, the brown folks are getting the attention, not the black folks. Man who was served 36 years in prison for stealing $50 to be released. That story is coming off the grill. God bless his soul. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey's account has been compromised again. It kind of trips me out when these like tech people, these high tech people get hacked and stuff like that. It just, I'm like, y'all can't, you can't protect you. Yeah, yeah. Um, Woman admits denying kidney to dying grandfather, but many agree with the reason. That's coming off the grill. I don't know what the reason was. Oh, did he molest her? I can't remember. Biden calls racism a white man's problem. I agree. I detect no lies. Do you detect any lies? Yeah, I detect no lies. They had that guy in chains for his court appearance after 35 years in chains. Is that the guy? I just heard how DR Congo is a good place for African Americans to relocate. Democratic Republic of Congo. You're talking about the guy who they accused? Did he even steal $50? And even if he, like, again, it's not, it's like the reason that they give for stuff is not the reason. Oh, we choked him out because he was selling cigarettes. That ain't why you choked that man out. Oh, we put him in jail for 35 years, 40 years, 50 years because he stole $50. That don't have nothing to do with nothing to me. That's just some bull. Um, that's coming off of Atlanta Black Star, that thing about Biden. I don't really know where it's $50 from a bakery, they said. I don't even know where that's a why that's a headline or a story. But anyway, Biden. Jack Dorsey's Twitter account has Jack Dorsey's Twitter account was hacked. A white supremacist takes over. Air Canada, that's coming off of moguldom.com. Air Canada fined for not using the French language. I think that Canada has two official languages, English and French. And so I guess they say you got to use the French and the English when you, because we gonna fine you. You with two official languages. Homeless valedictorian from Atlanta is now at Yale Medical School on full scholarship. That's coming off of moguldom.com. Washington Post reporter, blacks only want cheap chitlin apology from America, not real reparations. I don't know why. I just really like that cheap chitlin. Cheap chitlin. Cheap chitlin. I feel like I gotta use chitlin. I was in a play and it was something like, I like chitlins and champagne. Chitlins and champagne. I can't even remember, but I had a line where I had to say chitlins and champagne. Like it was, I don't eat chitlins. I never ate chitlins. I don't like the smell of chitlins. And then once you know what they are, they smell like what they are. Like yeah. But anyway, I still like the word chitlins. Chitlins, chitterlings. I like to say chitterlings too. But chitlins, chitlins. That story is coming off of Moguldom, that the Washington Post reporter saying we only want the cheap chitlin apology. Hong Kong protests, demonstrators defy ban on march. So the government is like, you cannot march, you're banned. And the people are like, we gonna march. Black Google engineer spills the tea, because nobody knew this, on Silicon Valley's hiring practices. Says giant tech only picks the whitest black candidates. We knew that, right? I started to notice when I was a student in college, it was like my class of black students was like I came from Detroit. I came from a black community. After that, all of the black women that it seemed like almost all of the black women had come either from communities where they were like the only black person in the community. Like it was this one woman who had come from Connecticut, and just a certain type of community in Connecticut. She was an ice skater. Both of her parents were executives in corporate America. She was used to being the only black person in the room. And then other people came from programs like ABC, A Better Chance, and Prep for Prep. So while maybe their home families and communities were not white, they had been in white communities for so long, so that these people were very white identified in lots of ways, and just used to being and comfortable being, the only black person or one of a few black people in a white environment. So they wasn't making no fuss, they wasn't kicking up no dust, they wasn't like, where the black teachers at, where the other black students at, what's going on, I protest, I'm here to say it. They was just like, it's business as usual. So my college was like, these are the kind of black people we like, the whitest black people we can find. They black on the surface, but they ain't acting like these Negroes from Detroit and Harlem and Oakland, because these Negroes from Detroit and Harlem and Oakland are raising hell up in here, and we don't like this. So we got to have another strategy. So yeah, I believe corporate America does that. Atlanta Black Star, that's that story on the black Google engineer spilling the tea. Appeals court orders deeper look into Virginia cop accused of targeting black drivers, including requesting warrants to search their homes. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Most flavorless Negroes in America. Flower. They flower. But can they help it? Like the girl who grew up like that, and a lot of these people, I'm like, can they help who they are? They messed up my life. Maryland man spends 3 months in jail after honey he brought back from the U.S. from Jamaica is mistaken for drugs. Was it mistaken for drugs? Because my mother said they can test that stuff like very quickly. So why he have to spend 3 months in jail if they thought maybe perhaps that the honey had, I think it was liquid meth or something in it. 3 months locked up. So when we were traveling back, it was kind of like I had kind of accounted for if we get caught in customs and we have to spend the night in Florida, that's going to delay me for a day. If I'm like a little sick, that's going to like it's going to be a couple more days before I can get to work. I think I had a 3 or 4 day cushion on the trip for contingencies. But shortly after we got back, the rent was due. So what if instead of being delayed a day, we weren't delayed at all, but what if we were delayed not a day or 2 days, but what if we were delayed a week? Now the rent's not paid. Then we're delayed a month. And like the longer you're delayed, the more stuff starts that you were planning to take care of, you can't take care of when you locked up. Your job, maybe they're gonna hold your job for a week or a month or whatever for 3 months. I mean, just his whole life. But anyway, that's Atlanta Black Star. And God bless that man. Prayers out to him. Los Angeles Urban League urges Supreme Court to protect the Civil Rights Act of 1866. There was a Civil Rights Act of 1866. Then 100 years later, we got the Civil Rights Act in the 1960s. It's kind of redundant, isn't it? Aren't we doing the same thing we've been doing over and over and over again? And is anything changing? There was a civil. I didn't know. I did not know that there was a Civil Rights Act of 1866. It makes sense though. There's probably a Civil Rights Act of 1776. Oh, in 1776, that's 100. That's more than 100 years after Black folks came here in chains, and they were forming this country on freedom and independence and liberty and justice for all. Dentist office across the US hit with ransomware. So they like, you better give us this money or else we gonna jack up your files. And these companies, these people, the world out here is wanting everybody to go digital. Oh, you don't need money. It's paperless money. Oh, you don't need to have your stuff local. It's up in the cloud. Oh, you don't everything have it on computers. And then they hacking your stuff and holding you hostage and you can't do nothing because everything is on the computer. That's coming off of Engadget.com. The vagina Bible adverts blocked by social media. So somebody wrote a book on like women's health or whatever, and it's called like the Vagina Bible. And Facebook or whoever is like, you can't say that word on us. Vagina. And the doctor who wrote the book is like, vagina is an anatomically correct term for a vagina. We got to get off this terrible round called America. That's a mess. Yeah, it's a mess. And we just in a loop. We just keep going around and round in circles. Google, that story is coming off of BBC, the Vagina Bible. Google uncovers exploit laden website that stole data from iPhones. Again, all of this digital in the cloud, everything on your tablet. Yeah. Um, Crying baby found alone in Fiji near five dead family members. Now, this seemed like we looping back to where we were last time we spoke. Could it be? Uh, Australia downgrades outlook for Great Barrier Reef to very poor. Maybe we not looping back. Um, Uber and Lyft prepare $60 million fight against worker classification bill. That's coming off of Engadget.com. Ooh, I'm starting to get warm. All these lights. Pusha T launches new campaign and song with Lauryn Hill to free drug prisoners under three strikes law. This is seeming kind of familiar. Um, I don't know. I wasn't myself at the time. DC man high on drugs defends brutal attack that left black man with 21 stitches sentenced to jail time. That's coming off of Atlanta Black Star. Um, Opinion black mothers need to wield the enormous power of breastfeeding their babies. I can't figure out if we talked about this or not. YouTube will stop displaying exact follower counts in September. I have exactly 523. I don't know how many I have. Something like that. I love all of you. Each and every one of you is special to me. Oh. Some bitter person called police on black children's lemonade stand, but things turned out better than expected. Atlanta Black Star. I think we did. Two New York ex-policemen walked free after sex with handcuffed suspect. Did we talk about that? That's coming off of BBC. Um, Descendants of iconic African Americans often struggle to manage stories of their famous relatives. The Moguldom.com. Yeah. Anyway, whether we did it or not, I'm done. It's a wrap. I'm parched. That was a police setup, so they can't be heroes. Yes, we did. Oh, we did. Oh, thank you. All right. Well, that's it. Oh no, I don't have my phone. I was like, I'm not gonna get my phone to do the Buddha. I don't feel like getting up. I got this table pushed all the way up against the couch, and I'm just, uh. But now, when it comes time to do the song at the end, what are you looking forward to, for yourself personally, for your family, for your community? What is exciting that's coming up in your life? Share the news, drop it in the comments. What am I looking forward to? Um, but yeah, I got all kinds of exciting things going on. But oh, I just got the second part of my Soul to Keep called Blood Colony. Is it Blood Colony? I can't even remember what it's called. But so I'm excited about getting started with that. Just a lot of exciting things going on. Today is the best day ever, and you are the greatest. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that other stuff. If you just came in, remember you can loop back around and watch the beginning of it. Um, Follow me on Twitter, befabulousyou.com. I'm there probably more than anything else. We're just ignoring him. Just ignore him. Y'all can't see him anyway, so it's easy for you to ignore him. So you gonna join in the song? You ain't got to go home, but you gotta get the up out of here because we about to go. So be you, be fabulous you. Be you, be fabulous you. Be you, be fabulous you. Who you gonna be if you ain't you? Who we gonna be if we ain't we? Who you gonna be if you ain't you? Be you. Be fabulous you. Peace. Y'all hear Bella shaking? She hear the song. We ain't even in the car, but she thinks we going somewhere. All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you. Be strong. Be fabulous you. Peace. Bye, Ayapo, Javante, Derelius, Leonte, Shamarco, Yapa. Sonya says she gonna get some chitlins. And dang, Kendrick says hello and goodbye. He's gone. All right, I'm out. Peace. Did y'all hear Bella drinking that water?